Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial on how to create a hybrid lino print. In this video today I'm going to show you how to make a hybrid, how to create a lino tile and how to print it. So let's get started. What you'll need for the first step is some tracing paper, an A4 picture of a full face and a picture of an animal that is front on, which is scaled up to be the same size as the face, a pencil and a rubber. So take the picture, lay the tracing paper over, and then you're going to draw all the detail of the hair and the body. Make sure you leave out the facial features as we don't need those just yet. Then place the picture of the animal underneath and position it where your facial features would be. These are now your features, as this is what a hybrid is. It's a mixture of a human and an animal. So now that's the tracing done, now we're going to move on to making the tile. So you will need a lino tile, a cutting tool with a variety of blades, a pencil and your tracing. Take the lino tile and your tracing and you want to flip the tracing over so the pencil side is facing down. So now take your pencil and scribble over every line of your tracing paper, and this will transfer the pencil onto your lino tile. Then take the tracing paper off and then you've got your first step of your lino tile. So now we're going to talk about the lino cutters. These are the tools you'll be using to gouge out the bits of lino to create the print. They're made up of two parts, so you've got the holder and the blade. So you want to take the metal bit and twist it, and this will open the groove in the middle of the holder. Then we have the blade. There's a variety of different blades which do different things, but they all have a sharp end and a blunt end. The blunt end you want to insert into the groove of the holder. Please be careful when doing this, as it is a blade and you can cut yourself. Once the blade is in, you need to twist the metal bit again so it's nice and secure. We will be using two different types of blades for this. We'll be using the slightly larger one and the smaller one. The bigger one is for gouging out larger areas and the smaller is for finer detail. So using the smaller blade, you want to go around all of your lines that you've just put onto your lino tile. So remember, when you do your first stage of printing, that these areas will not be printed and they will be left white. Keep going until all your outline is done. When you are cutting, please be careful. Again, it is a blade, so you can really hurt yourself. And when you're cutting, always cut away from yourself. So that's the first stage of your lino cutting done. Now we're ready to move on to our first layer of printing. Now moving on to printing, so you'll need your lino tile, you'll need two rollers, you'll need a plastic sheet and some ink, and also some cartridge paper. So these are the rollers. We usually use two. One is for the inking and one is for dry rollering. Each roller will have a foot. This is for turning the roller over and placing it down on the table to stop the roller sticking to any newspaper or the paper that you've laid down on the table. So now moving on to printing, you need to put a blob of ink on your plastic sheet and then taking one roller and evenly distributing the ink across the roller. Once you've done that, you need to roll over the whole of your tile with the ink and make sure that it's evenly spread out and it's not patchy. Then get a bit of cartridge paper, lay it down on the table, and you carefully want to flip over the lino tile, holding the edges, making sure that your fingers do not touch the ink, otherwise you're going to get a fingerprint in that, and carefully lay it down onto the paper. Now take your dry roller and roll over the whole back of the lino tile. This will help the ink transfer onto the page and make sure you get a nice even print. Now carry on this process until you run out of paper. So what is a good print and what is a bad print? The one on the left is a bad print, as it's quite patchy and it's not very clear. The one on the right is a good print, as it's a nice even distribution of paint, the colour's nice and bright and it's not too patchy. So now you're going to wash your lino tile to make sure it's free of any ink, as you're going to go back and cut some more sections out. So now taking the larger tool, you want to cut out the areas that you want to keep red. This is a little confusing and does take a while to get your head around, but anything that you keep will be printed black, anything that you get rid of will stay red. So now it's the same process as before. You're inking up your tile, making sure it's a nice and even coverage of ink. you're going to hold it and flip it around, but this time you must be very careful that the alignment is correct, as it needs to be in the same place. So start at the bottom and slowly lay the tile down. Keep going until all your pieces of paper have had the second layer put on. So now let's look at if it's a good print or a bad print. So the one on the left is a bad print, as it's quite patchy, the colour is very uneven, the black hasn't printed out very well, so this is a bad print. The one on the right is a very good print, as the colours are nice and bright and fairly even coverage of ink, and it's well positioned. So that's it guys, we're done with our lino prints. We've created a hybrid, we've transferred it onto a lino tile, created our first print, worked back into our tile and then created a second. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you all again soon.